Hi, everyone. My name is Shawnee Stacy, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about the final project I completed this semester for our online searching class. I chose to do a client project as I felt like it would give me more experience using databases for searching in a mock reference desk sort of scenario. For a bit of info on my client, their information need, and the reference process, I approached my client, Tyler, who uses he, they pronouns, but indicated they would like to be referred to as they in this project for sake of ease. And I asked them if they had an information need that I could search for my final project. They said that they did actually, and that they wanted to learn more about study skills for college students with ADHD. They are a full time middle school technology teacher living in Las Vegas, Nevada, and are also currently going to school online to receive their bachelor's of science degree in education with a focus on secondary biological science. Since they've been in school, they've noticed that their ADHD has gotten much more prominent, and while they're able to complete smaller, more manageable assignments, they're struggling to write longer essays or study for tests. They were hoping that I would be able to find research-based study strategies that they could learn from and utilize in their educational endeavors. The reference process took place mostly over the phone or through Facebook Messenger, as Tyler lives in Southern Nevada and I live in Southern Oregon. While this isn't ideal, it does echo the trajectory that a lot of libraries, academic or otherwise, are taking through the use of phone calls and chat boxes in order to serve their students or patrons that perhaps aren't physically able to get into the library itself. It worked really well for us in this project as we're already quite used to communicating with each other this way. So let's talk about the searches. I had two search phases for this project. For the first search phase, I utilized dialogue as it has been our main focus for this semester, and I picked the ERIC, PsycInfo, Australian Education Index, and Social Sci search databases. This way, I covered both the educational and psychological aspects of ADHD and study strategies. I began by using keyword searches to gauge success to see if I selected the right databases. And I really cannot stress enough that these keyword searches were too successful. In the first search, with all of my synonyms for my main concepts of ADHD, higher education, and study strategies, I retrieved over 2,100 results. Even cutting down my synonyms still landed me with result counts in the hundreds. So while I knew that I picked the right databases, I realized I was going to need to do this or go to thesaurus searching to hopefully get less retrieval and more relevance. Um, in this stage, I picked the two databases that seemed to retrieve the most, ERIC and PsycInfo, and I searched with their thesauri. In this stage, I retrieved 15 total results, and I sent off the most relevant ones to my client for feedback. But really, only 5 of these were even remotely helpful, and most of them didn't really even satisfy the information need. So I moved forward with my second search phase after Tyler did indeed clarify that they did also want things they could use to teach their students, not just things they could use in their school life. For search phase 2, then, I decided to go ahead and use the databases hosted at the King Library here with SJSU in the EBSCO aggregate database. It is a rather large aggregate database, and the King Library has plenty of subscriptions that are hosted within it, many of which were, in fact, education related. I decided to utilize the ERIC, again, Education Research Complete, Academic Search Complete, Education Full Text, and Teacher Reference Center databases. Here, I also reworked my key concepts to instead include students rather than higher education, as I was no longer just looking for college-age students. I also, along the way, learned that study skills seem to be the preferred term across most platforms, and I began to use that instead of study strategies. As always, I began with a keyword search to see how successful these databases would be, and once again, I retrieved more than I knew what to do with, which was like over 1,100 results. And a lot of them even had to deal with artificial intelligence and how AIs are learning new things. So I decided to finally just utilize subject field searching. What's really great about EBSCO is that they make advanced and field searching really quite easy. So I plugged in my synonyms as subjects to see if they would retrieve items more accurately. Here, 27 items were retrieved in total, 9 of which seemed to be relevant to the information need, and 6 of the 9 that I sent to Tyler were impressively helpful, which was much more than what I retrieved in dialogue. My client went away from this interaction satisfied with what I found for them, and was looking forward to looking over some of the items I found and potentially using them in their school life and their classroom. So, for my analysis of this process, I learned that having a breadth of subject specific databases is immensely helpful. I was stoked to find that the King Library had so many education databases, so that if EBSCO didn't work out for me, I could still go and search in quite a few other databases that weren't hosted within EBSCO. I also learned that when doing a reference interview, it's really important to try and get to the bottom of the information need during the first interview so that you and the patient or client don't have to find yourselves in a repetitive process of finding items that are receiving lukewarm feedback and then having to re-interview. Um, I also saw that this information need of Tyler's is pretty robustly researched, but that won't always be the case with information needs. So I think it's important for me to get more searching experience outside of this interaction to fully grasp how to effectively search. I'm also still very much learning and trying to understand how to make databases work for me. So I recognize that I probably barely scratched the surface in my search processes here for this project, but I particularly found that Boolean operators, thesaurus searching, and field or subject searching were the most helpful and useful for me here in this project. I'm really rather thankful that I chose to do a client project. I found it to be a rather low stress way to gain quote unquote reference experience with someone that I knew and was already comfortable with, and I knew would be infinitely patient with me through this process. Both Tyler and I are happy with how this turned out, and I'm really hoping to get more experience searching for niche information needs here soon. I want to thank you all for listening, and I hope that you all learned as much as I did this semester. Thank you.